It was dusk. The clouds hung heavy, laced with an eeriness of stillness in the air. The climb was steep, 5 sets of stairs, railings slung low only part way up, then nothing, yes, nothing to hold on to. Then it struck, ashes of chilling fear. I stopped dead in my tracks, retreated slowly, inch by inch, to the bottom. I left heartbroken, my party vision shattered. Horror had no rationale. I was not strong enough, well enough. The swirling, whirling thoughts whirled around in my head. Days later, I saw my physical therapist, champion of my shattered shoulder restoration. You can imagine what he said. You have to go back, try again. And yes, you can ask for help, you know. Has this ever happened to you in these changing, turbulent times? Have you let your fears prevent you from reaching your dreams? Welcome. I'm Susan Giles, host of the Wake Up Your Magic show. People always ask me, just what the heck is this Wake Up Your Magic? I designed my Wake Up Your Magic books, the self-empowerment group Circles, and the Wake Up Your Magic TV show that you're watching for people who want to better their lives. It's that simple. Stay tuned. Our guest today is Jean-Marc Slack, a fellow talk show host, a chiropractor, and he is going to be talking about the power of life and communication, better ways for you to better yourself. And speaking of, I'm going to read right now a poem called This Ball of Life. This is an abbreviated poem from my first book, Wake Up Your Magic. What a ball, yes, pun intended, this game of life. It can make you so happy or so filled with strife. This ball going from the harshness, the hardness of the backhand, up, and away with every serve. Yes, the pros, the ussums, the black, the white, the old, the young, they play this game of life. Some of us finally give up the fight. We learn about connecting the dots to the wholeness, about the racket connecting to the ball. We learn to trust the rhythms of nature as our hand skims the grass, rather than busily, frequently the mall. So alas to you out there watching, I say, bounce that ball. Let it hop, skip, leap, stay. Be your heart's pulse. Don't give it away. Play this game of life because you can. Please, pray tell, like an old mother hen. And today I am highlighting my first book of the Wake Up Your Magic books, which is this Wake Up Your Magic book, which is a collection of poetry. And it's pondering that proverbial old question that we always ask ourselves. What is there? Is there more to life? You know, in this book and in this poem, I ask this question, which I'd love to have you think about at home. How do you connect with nature? Do you take time to do that? Right now on the screen, you're going to see my Wake Up Your Magic moment, reaching for distant stars. And of course, you'll see it says to stretch or not to stretch, to be a human being and doing. And as we do this, to be aware of self-talk and to know that each day we have 50,000 thoughts going through our heads. And as you see, it says to ask, act, which we always talk about on my show, and to move forward, and of course to celebrate. And you know, we're talking about celebration today, and I am just so excited, and I'm celebrating because 4 years ago I was on Dr. Jean Marc's show, and at that point it was called Simply Well, and now he has a whole new show. But first of all, I'm going to introduce him. He is a master communicator, he is a TV host, he is a chiropractor, and he is a presenter. So right off the bat, I'm going to let you tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's really exciting. As you asked me earlier, you know, how often do you do this? And, you know, outside of my own show, I don't get asked around a whole lot. So it's really exciting. I'm very, very thrilled that you invited me on your show. I've been a chiropractor for a long time, came out of school. I met my wife in chiropractic school back in 1981, and we've been together ever since. That's probably more important than anything else. And
That's great.
We graduated from chiropractic school together in 1984, 25 years ago.
Wow.
Seems like yesterday. We practice together in Burlington. We have a family practice. She actually specializes in care for children and young mothers and pregnant women. That's really her focus in practice. I do everything else. This is such an exciting line of work because we get to have this really unique combination of seeing people for the long term. Just this afternoon, I went in the office, and there was someone there, and our son is about to go to college. He's 18, and she looked at me and said, "I remember when he was born."
Exactly.
And so we get to see people have real relationships with our patients. We know them better than any other doctor knows them, and there's huge value in that, because when there's a slight variation, slight thing that goes off, we know it right away, way before any test could tell. And yet at the same time, every visit is anew. It's a process of discovery. Every visit, we need to be open to the possibilities that, you know, today is going to be totally different, and we got to be right on. And it's really exciting. It's never boring. It's always new. It's really, you know, I'm so blessed to be able to do this every day, go in and help people in that really amazing way. Now, I wanted to, you know, something you said in that story when you opened the show.
Oh, good.
That I wanted to touch upon because before I forget. And you asked people if they ever let their fear stop them from living. I think all of us have stopped from doing the things that we knew would be best for us for fear of one thing or another. That's part of being human. It's just part of who we are. That's how we're wired. And you know, there's different types of fear. There's the fear that tells you don't jump off a tall building. Good thing, you know, have that fear. You know, listen to it.
Stove, sure.
Absolutely,
sure.
That's right. And then there's the other kind of fear that keeps you from saying, "Well, hello, I'm Jean-Marc Slack. Nice to meet you." There's the fear that keeps you from making that phone call that would open doors for you. There's a fear that keeps you from, initiating a relationship. There's the fear that keeps you from going to the chiropractor because, you know, you've heard things about chiropractor. What is that about? There's a fear of going places you haven't been to. And the experience, once you have decided to go over, you know, to just break through, just do it, say hello, make the call, come to my office. It is so, you know, invariably, it's a good thing. Invariably.
You know, I'm so happy that you're bringing this up, because when we decided to kind of change the format of the show, We wanted to address what is going on in our changing, turbulent times. And of course, so many people are either living in fear or, as you say, they are jumping in, they're making that phone call, they're coming to do alternative medicine like chiropractic. And I thought what really happened to me, that's a very true story, is so amazing, because there I was. I was excited about going to this party. I had gotten all gussied up. It was a big, big party of my Toastmaster group. I got halfway up the stairs and I froze. And what happens with that fear? I mean, you must see patients like that all the time. I mean, talk how people watching us tonight, I mean, there are people out there I know that are saying, yeah, that's easy for you to say. You can do these little things, but I can't do that. I've done this my whole life. How do you address that?
We all have a place on the inside that wants to be great. We all have, and we know we have the potential to be amazing. We are, but we don't always realize we are. And we all have that. And we all have this baggage, these years, decades of experience of things that we have the impression were less than supportive, less than fulfilling, less than constructive towards us. And so we end up having this two voices, you know. You've seen the cartoons. There's a little devil and a little angel on the shoulder, right? And
you look like a little angel as you tell us this story. This is wonderful.
And yet, the really important thing here is that with the two little cartoon characters on the shoulder here, we got to remember that we're in the middle and we're calling the shots. So to be empowered, that's really what it's about. When you decide that you're going to pick up that phone, that you're going to go to that place, that you're going to introduce yourself, that you're going to sign up for that class, that you're going to, whatever it is, you have decided you are actually acting like you are your own supporter. And ultimately, it's our lives. No one's going to take care of you the way you're going to take care of you. No one's going to take care of me the way I'm going to take care of me. We are responsible for our own destiny. And we need to realize that it starts with taking responsibility for our actions. And the reason why there's juice there, the reason why it's exciting, is because there is that fear that says, oh, I don't know if I can do that. And I do it anyways, and it's really, really good. Oftentimes, just the doing is the thrill, Who cares about the outcome?
Right? We're right here in front of this camera right now, right? You're all watching, that.
Just the doing is
exactly.
In and of itself, it goes back to life is the journey, not the goal. And, if we're able to step back and say, the anticipation, the thrill, the excitement of getting to the point where we're going to take action and the act itself, and then being able to look back and say, I did it. All of that is so much fun. It's just plain fun.
Well, you made a comment about doing, and of course I mentioned that in my Wake Up Your Magic moment, and then of course ask and act too, and both things we talk about on the show, but the human doing versus the human being, of finding that balance, because so many people are either doing, or being and doing nothing, or as you say, the ask. So many people will say, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to the chiropractor someday, or I'm going to try this new diet, but they never do it. Or they rush and they act and they do it without ever thinking it through. So I like to think that you ask first and then act.
Living consciously.
Exactly.
That's what you're describing. That's great. The traditional positive thinking type of school would be articulating that as a be, do, have type of continuum, where you you need to be the person who can take the action. So that's what you describe as thinking about, thinking it out, and becoming the person who is able to take the action. And then acting, doing. And there's no way around the fact that to get anywhere, to do anything, to achieve anything, you need to take action. And then that leads naturally to obtaining, getting there. You can't get from here to Boston without somehow driving, taking a bus, taking a cab, asking a friend to get you. You need to take action.
I agree.
To get there. So you need to know where you want to go, but then you need to act.
Take care of it.
Absolutely.
And you're a man of such action. And I know that. And I know that you're doing a lot of presentations. I know you're doing a lot of that kind of thing. And I want to talk about the 5 pillars of health. But I just want to go back to this fear stuff one more second. So, Doc, I come in your office and I load my stuff and I bring my baggage in and I say, hey, Doc, fix me. I'm going to have you just take care of me. I don't want any more part of this. You do my back, you do my neck, you do one part, and I just load it on you. Now, what do you do then? Do you keep that stuff, or do you somehow empower your patients?
Well, this will never be mine. Much as I want to help you, I can't deal with it, but I can help you deal with it in a way that is effective. And you remember we talk about being responsible,
right,
for our own well-being,
right?
And this is where it starts and this is where it ends, and it never stops. Health is a journey, and you mentioned the 5 pillars of health, and this is the model that we use in our office to help people along that journey.
Which are,
the 5 pillars
I want
of
to
health.
know those 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to use my hands to make sure I get all 5.
Okay, good.
The first one is a nervous system that's free of interference, because your nervous system controls, coordinates everything in your body. Chiropractic care does that. That's what it's about. That's the first one, the fundamental one. And I would even say that the other 4, as important as they are, ultimately they are irrelevant if you don't deal with that first one.
Wow, that's a huge statement for somebody
Absolutely.
25 years in this business. Isn't
Absolutely.
It? Yeah.
Chiropractic care is that fundamentally important. No doubt in my mind. Second one is eat well. Not groundbreaking news. However, it's an everyday, constant attention type of thing. You can't eat well for a week. You can't eat well for a day. You can't eat well for a year. You need to eat well forever. It's just the way it is. Third one is move well. Our bodies are made to be in motion. We're not made to be static. We're made to be moving. And you see it as we age, we move in different ways, right? I mean, babies are just not moving a whole lot. And then when they become toddlers, they start to creep along and start moving more and be more independent. They start walking. And, have you ever tried to, I remember getting on a plane with with one of my kids being 13 months old. That's the time when you don't want to take kids on a plane. Because right. Just brand new walker, and he would not sit down. He had to move. He had to walk. He had to experience. And then as kids grow up, they keep moving more, and the activity level increases. That's the way it should be. That's the way it normally happens. So the last thing you want to do is have a kid in front of a TV, right? They need to move. And then as you keep growing, physically you become stronger, and so your activity level goes up and up and up. And through adulthood, your activity level stays pretty high. And then as your body starts to age, your activity level starts to slow down. At no point is there no activity level, though. The only time you're supposed to be still is when you're dead. Until you're dead, keep moving. And if you don't, you're going to be dead sooner than later.
Exactly.
And we don't want that.
Exactly.
So we have nervous system, we have eat well, we have move well. The next one is rest and recovery. Very important. I find in my practice that a lot of people have a hard time have a hard time dedicating enough energy to resting. It sounds like a paradox. You need the energy to rest, but they're not putting rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, recovery in their life nearly as much as they really need. There's a fundamental need. Physiologically, we're made to have periods of rest. And the last one is to think well. And frankly, I have given your books to patients because they needed that as support. It really helps along those way. Think well is fundamentally important also. So those are the 5 pillars of health, and this is what we do in our office. We chiropractic care, free up the nervous system, coach our patients, support them in eating better, exercising, getting the rest they need, and the mental attitude of thinking well. So important. Health is a whole. Health is not a bunch of little, it doesn't come out of a pill. Health comes from within.
So I love everything you're saying. I just want you to repeat those 5 quickly because I think all of us tune in to maybe 3 of them.
You know what? One of the things about the 5 pillars of health that I need to say is that I don't know anyone, including me, who can nail all 5 perfectly all the time.
Oh, come on now, you're...
Sometimes I get 2 or 3 down really good, but then I realize that another 2 are not quite right. Life is work, right? And that's what part of the joy of being alive is that you always have something else going on, and it's exciting. So, nervous system free of interference. That's a fundamental one. That's the one. If you don't take care of that, the rest is almost quasi-irrelevant. So seeing a chiropractor to get your nervous system free of interference, absolutely fundamentally important. Move well, exercise. Eat well, rest, relaxation, and think well. Those are the 5.
I love it. And I got to tell you, and I got to tell my audience, thank God I went to the chiropractor last week. I mean, if I didn't, I wouldn't dare sit here, right? Because we have the expert. And in case you wonder what you're watching the Wake Up Your Magic show with one of our prime chiropractors. And he's going to tell us a little bit later where he practices and what he has coming up. But I'm going to flip this just a moment here. When I first met you, you had this show that we talked about called Simply Well, and you had a lot of alternative practitioners on doing alternative medicine, or as you call it, holistic. And then you said that you took the idea of putting both parts of your life together. You were doing monthly meetings for chiropractors on communicators, and then you thought, I'm going to bring them live to the screen so people can watch it. So do you want to tell us the name of your show and the biggest lesson that you've learned in communicating? And I'm going to ask you a question about communicating too.
Well, the name of my show is The Power of Life. And it's called The Power of Life because that's the source, right? The life source, the power of life. That's the most magical thing I could think about, the most empowering name. And I came to it because, as you said, I was on the board of a chiropractic, a state association, and every month we were flying in these master communicators, these people who are just extraordinarily well versed in, the most skilled people in their field, and they were presenting to lecturing to chiropractors, and I'm doing my show at the same time, where we're having all these people who are, holistic and all kinds of stuff, and I thought, oh,
bingo,
I really am more excited about a chiropractic and health than I am about herbs, and so let's bring them together. And I have to say, this is a great show. The people that are attracted, and I have people flying from all around the country to be on my show. people from Canada. It's great. It's been really exciting. It's a great ride. People I would probably I've never really had much relationship with. Now I get to meet and really, we get to have this really great conversation, very inspiring and enlightening.
So, before we talked about healing and what healing's about, and now we're talking about your show, and I just want to ask you the biggest piece of communication advice. I even brought this mirror because people always are talking about, to communicate, you've got to hear the other person, you've got to mirror back, you've got to be present. So there are lessons I know with that.
Mirroring and doing things like that are very useful technique for communicating. But I think the ultimate key to communication, in my opinion, is that effective communication is not, if I'm communicating with you, I have to share something with you, and it's important to you. In my mind, it's important to you. Then what is really important about communicating is not that I say what I have to say just right. It's not that I look just right. What is really important is that you is what you got out of the communication. And that is the most important thing about communicating. It's not about what I say, it's about what you take away from the interaction. That's what good communication is about. It's not about me, it's about what you get.
I just want everybody out here to really listen to what Jean-Marc is saying, because it's so clear that no matter what you're doing, you're so passionate about it. And of course, passion to me is a big, big piece of health. And hopefully my next question is going to still be framed around the show, but we want to get a couple other things in here. On Wake Up Your Magic, we always do something called the Wake Up Your Magic tip. And we have people give a tip to the audience that would be something that you want to leave them with, some amazing thing.
Well, you've heard about the body-mind connection?
Of course.
I want everyone to stop and think for just a second. We've all heard about the body-mind connection, but what is that connection? What is that physical link between the body and the mind? That link is the nervous system.
I wanted the heart.
It's a nervous system. If anything messes up with the nervous system, you're not going to be able to be as healthy, as happy, as functional as you have the potential of being. Chiropractors are the only one to deal with that. If anyone, I would really, really from the bottom of my heart encourage people to call and find out what chiropractic has to offer them, because it really, really, really in a profound way will change our lives. I know it. I've been doing it for 25 years. I know it.
And you're going to have your name plastered all over the screen and where we can get in touch with you. But I have to ask you one other question before we tell what you have coming up. If I was to give you this magic wand and it could be electrified, and there was one trait that you do not have that you literally would like to share with the viewers, what would that be?
Something I would have that I don't have, and I've been blessed. I would have courage. That's what I would have. I would have more courage. In all the things I do and everything, I still think I'm really shy on the inside.
I think you are wonderful, and I think that the wonderful part, I just want to be sure to tell everybody, we want to have you go to your website, and your website's name is?
drslak.com, drslak.com.
And you are in what town?
Burlington, Massachusetts.
And you see new patients?
We accept new patients. We're there 4 days a week, and we accept new patients.
Ending, I want to say wake up, wake up. Make life your very best. Ask, act, play this game of life. Play with that ball. Reach for the distant stars. Take that self-responsibility. Learn about connecting the dots to the wholeness, about being a human being, not a doing. and let your dreams do the rest.
You are a star. You are a star. That's what you are. You are a star. You are a star. That's what